Hey, it's Mike with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It is January 17th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And if you were looking for a chart lesson yesterday or a mid-morning chart and you didn't find it, that's because we had a big winter storm come through here, and you Northerners will probably laugh at us here in the South, but when it's 7 degrees and 2 inches of snow and ice on the ground, everything shuts down here. We're not prepared for it, and they don't have the equipment to clear the road, so they might throw a little rock out on the bridges, and that's about it. And uh, so I didn't leave the house yesterday. But anyway, somebody actually asked me if I can trade from my house, and I could, and I have in the past, but I don't do that anymore. I moved everything to my office, and I quit trying to trade at the house. You just too many distractions, and I want to keep my work and my personal stuff separate. It works better for me, and so I don't trade from the house anymore. So if I can't get to the office, or there's no power or no internet here, then I won't be. Then I usually just take the day off. So, but anyway, this is pretty much typical of what you might. We're in a very strong bull market right now. It may last a week, it may last a month, it may last all year. We don't know how long it's going to last. But when you see a big sell-off like this in the midst of a bull market, you can almost guess that when this thing finds a bottom, that it's going to be time to buy. And that's what happened today. Today was a great day to buy. It was a one-day correction, and we're already at 2,800 now. I mean, it was just a couple of months ago we were talking about 2,600, and now we're at 28. I mean, we went through 2,700 in no time and blew right through there, and now we're at 2810 today. So where this market's going, we'll just have to see. We don't care. We're just going to follow it wherever it goes. If it keeps going up, we're going to go with it. If it sells off, we'll start selling. So I did have a couple sales in there today. Not many. Most of it's buying for the day. We had a little correction here, a little pullback, and when we found a bottom here, it was time to get long. So at a minimum, once we started going higher from this point, actually I'd probably measure from this low first, but I would measure that and look for a measured move. So that gets you up to here at least, but we blew right on through that. But I would also measure just today's price action, because that previous low went into yesterday afternoon. And so that would put us into right here. We blew right on through that too. Once we got through this high, people started buying again. People got confident that, hey, the uptrend's going again. Let's start buying. But let's back out just a hair here. We can see it a little bit. I want you to see the whole picture. But we'll go through the trades pretty quickly today. I've still got some cold weather issues I'm dealing with, so I'm going to get out of here a little early again today. So that's the reason I'm doing this a little bit early. But supposed to get back above freezing here tomorrow, and things will probably be back to normal for me. But anyway, first trade I saw, we were trending up obviously when I came in, and notice this double test and the little failed break lower. This is obviously sideways. I'm not crazy about buying this because it's right into the highs, but more than that, we're a good bit away from the EMA. And generally, your best trades are going to be back at the EMA when you get a pullback back to the EMA. But this is a pretty strong move up, and you do have a double test rule and a little failed break lower, and you had a failed break higher first, and generally you're going to succeed on the breakout after failing the opposite side. So in other words, actually, let me back up. You're usually going to succeed on a breakout on the side opposite. Let me think of the best way to say this. Whichever way you trade it into the congestion or range, you're probably going to succeed out the same side. So we traded up into this, so you're probably going to get your bigger move to the upside. It turned out that we failed out that side too and sold off, but this would be I'd be more looking to buy here than I would be to sell, is the real key I'm trying to tell you. because we traded up into this, so we're probably going to break out. We're probably going to succeed at least somewhat out the other side because we traded up into it. But because we're so far away from the EMA, I just don't like buying there because you know we're coming back soon, and we haven't been back since way down here in the middle of the overnight. So we were overdue to come back. Not only did we come back, we had a pretty nice correction. So, but there is a double test and a little failed break lower. Your entry would be one tick above this bar, but this is really your signal bar. So you have to put your stop below that. Then of course we failed out the upper side, and it actually had a big bullish bar here and went higher and turned and went out the other side. So you might sell there because there is room to get out before you get back to here, and we're probably may even come back to the EMA. But notice we had this overshoot here too. That's another thing that scares me about going long because of the overshoot. If this is indeed an overshoot, then we're probably going to get a correction or at least an overshoot on this side, which means the break. And so there could be a break coming. So that scares me about this one too. And that's another reason I made it green. I just think you're better off to stay out of either one of these. But if you want to be aggressive, they're both possibilities. And then look how we went right through the EMA, pulled back. We didn't break higher there. So we didn't get a first entry technically till here, and then a second entry. And it's right at that trend line again. This looks like a spike in channel. And if you drew that off the lows and pulled this up, it kind of fits right in there. So I like going short here. That's not a great signal bar, but it's a failed second entry long, so it doesn't matter. You can just go short right there, and you can see it dropped off pretty quickly. And then we come back. This is just a first entry, counting off the low. Notice that new low, so you're coming back first entry, and then it makes another low, so the count starts over again. So that's just a first entry, but it is a third touch of that trend line on the spiking channel, and you do have room to get out, and so you may consider entering there. But notice what happens. We come down, we get an overshoot on this side. That leads to the break. You get a first entry, tries to go higher here, fails and turns and goes out the other side. Your entry's got to be one tick below this bar. This bar is way too big to be entering down here, and you probably would have got burned if you enter down there. So even if you waited till this is already broke lower and decide you want to enter, you have to put your limit. You have to put a limit order in back here and see if this will back up and fill you before it goes on. I wouldn't try to get filled with it if it comes back from here, because as you see, it never came back again. So if you got in right there, your entry's one tick below that bar. This bar is too big. You don't want to be entering down here. And there's no way you could have got into this on this bar at the right place without it coming back to here. Notice it did go lower, but it fails and comes back again. And so you would have gotten burned on that one eventually. But I actually liked going long right here when this thing went up and makes that failed second entry right there. Notice that you got a new low. That's a first entry, pullback, second entry. Even though you got a little pullback here, this is still considered a second entry based on the way the chart's set up. And so that's a trap. That's a short trap for sure. I like going long right there. And then you get your true failed second entry short, because this is really a new low. And so first entry, second entry, and this actually went lower below that big bearish bar and then went higher. And I guarantee they trapped a lot of people right there. And then it comes back. You only get a first entry here. Wait on the second entry. That confirms. You draw that trend line off those first two. You get a confirmation of the trend line. Third touch, nice bullish bar. That's a new high. Pull back first entry. Pull back. And you didn't make a new high yet, so pull back second entry. So that's a second entry long. And then you get that another pullback and confirmation right there. And I really thought it would take on off there. And the fact that it went higher and pulled back again was a little bit scary. But after another touch and it goes higher, then it's probably going to take on off. But if I'm already in these two, I'm probably not going to add on again. If I hadn't entered at all yet, I'd probably enter right there. But if you're already in twice, I don't think you want to risk a third set of second set of add-ons and a third set of contracts, um, because I really thought we'd take on off there. So this is starting to get suspect. That trend line's still holding all the way, so there's a good chance it's going higher, but I just wouldn't want to load up too big and risk it. So, and then notice what happens. You make a new high, pull back first entry, pull back. There's a second entry long right there. This is really your signal bar right here. It should have been right there. It actually went lower first and then turned and went out the other side, but you probably either want to enter, let it break higher and drop a limit order in there, or you might let it break above this bar and drop a limit order back, leave them a little further and see if you can get filled. And notice you would have. And then you make the actual breakout pullback long here, and it confirms this steeper trend line because you drew it off those first two swings. Actually, I drew it off these and drug it down, and it bounced perfect there. That's why I like that one. And then you get another bounce off it off here. Again, this is your signal bar, but you would go long one tick above that. I'm not as crazy about this one because you don't, you're getting so close to those highs, and it's made a couple of real quick highs, but as usual, it takes on off. This one's back. This one you've got the trend line and the EMA, and you got a double bottom with some matching lows across there. So you got several different reasons to kind of like that one. Right across there, notice we bounced off it once, twice, so this is a double test of that level. It's another reason I like it. This one, you're away from the EMA, you've already broken out. There's a little few reasons to be a little more hesitant right there. But then look what happens. It comes back, pulls back. First entry, pulls back. Second entry. There's a second entry long right there, but that's a doji. And I mean, that's a true doji. It closed right in the middle. It's a 1 bar trading range, and it did close back below this line. So this is looking like, hey, this might be a failed or an overshoot of this channel. Turns out it's 2 tiers and the other tiers up here, but you don't know that yet. It could just be an overshoot. But when it bounces off of it again and gives you a bullish bar, I like entering. And then you get your breakout pull back here at another bullish bar. Again, I might let it break higher and use a limit order, but at this point, we're probably going to the other side. And this shorter term trend line still holding. And this thing's starting to look really strong now. So I'd probably be willing to enter at that very high, even on a stop. I went back and forth. This one could be green, but there's enough evidence here now to see this thing's really strong. And what I would be looking for at this point was I'd go ahead and measure this leg. And I'd look for a measured leg off that, which puts us way up here. And where does that at? Right up here at this upper trend line area. And notice we got right to it, and that's where it sells off. And there were some more pullbacks here, and there's actually another shorter term, steeper trend line right up through here, and you can see that. And so there's some more bounces, but we're just getting further and further away from the EMA, and we're getting closer to these highs. If you want to be aggressive, every time you came back to this trend line here, you'd probably want to enter if it's a bullish bar, except for that one. It's a sure doji, but it still would have worked, but you just don't know that ahead of time. So I wouldn't be afraid. Anytime it pulled back, like right here and gave you a bullish bar, right here, maybe even this one, and then this one's stacking up and there's a doji in there, so I wouldn't enter on that one. But they're aggressive, and I'm not even going to mark them that late in the day. There's too big a chance. It could be that this the midline's further down in here somewhere like so, and maybe we're already into that up here. So you could make that work, but in the end, I believe can't never grab the right line. In the end, I believe I had it right the first time. And you can see that. So several nice trades. Several of these would have caught you runners. So it could, if you read this properly, it was a pretty good trading day. So not much else I can say about it. Again, hate that I wasn't here yesterday. I hate that I missed such a nice sell-off. I mean, this was a really nice sell-off. But again, if you were looking for me and wondering why you didn't hear from me, that's why. But you can see that's a really nice downtrend. I hate I missed out on it. But we got another chance today on an uptrend. Worked just as well to going up as it does going down. In fact, a lot of times it works better going up than it does going down. So, but I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Believe it or not, tomorrow's Thursday. So tomorrow we'll wrap up our week. For anybody that's new, we don't do chart lessons on Fridays. So if you're looking for one on a Friday, you won't ever find one because I'm not doing them on Fridays any longer. I'm usually taking, I usually try to get out of here by 11 or 12 on Fridays lately. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. We'll be back again tomorrow to wrap up our week. But I'm done. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.